Welcome to Criminal Minds, a comedic true crime watch-along podcast where we watch Criminal Minds, all 15 seasons, and discuss the true crime that can be linked, however indirectly, to the episode. We're your hosts, Stacey Johnson and Veronica Shea, and this week we're joined by Kim Lupe in discussing Season 2, Episode 9, The Last Word. I don't like that. I don't like you guys getting close. I don't like it.
You're going to be all right. This is what happens when you go away. First, you abandoned me and you went to London for I don't even know how long. You were just gone for like a decade.
I know.
You don't even know what happened, even though you were leaving the country and you were just gone.
And almost died.
And then you were like dying.
Hospital.
I'm like, what is happening?
Oh my God. Kim, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, welcome.
For episode 31, season 2, episode 9, The Last Word.
Bum, bum.
How exciting. The team, as we know, was in St. Louis, they went to St. Louis. The family, okay, let's start this again. Let's get it together.
No, I like this.
Take it from the top.
From the top. The team goes to St. Louis because we open on a family in a park. The mom goes to lay out lunch while the dad plays with the daughter, and a man approaches the mom to help him find his missing daughter. She goes off to help him, and he kills her.
That's what happens.
Straight up fucking whacks her in the face. Just wallops her.
Just
right.
boop.
He punched her right in the face. But that, and if we can go back to the dad and the daughter for a minute, he was basically playing fetch with his daughter, which I found odd. He would just throw the ball and she'd run away.
I think that's smart. You know? Work smart, not hard. Go get hired, girl.
Just go get it. Yeah. So anyway,
the
mom gets punched in the face and she dies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Meanwhile, a young boy wakes up his mom saying it's after 10 p.m. He's fed himself and the baby. This kid is like 6. The mom hits the streets looking for a John. She finds a client on the street who follows her down an alleyway and he shoots her. Mm-hmm. There are 2 serial killers. Back at Quantico, Agent Emily Prentiss meets Hotch. She's under the impression that she's joined the BAU and he has no idea who she is or what she's talking about. We find out the Mill Creek killer, the first Hodder killer who killed the mom, I guess they're both moms, who killed the affluent mom, is now up to 6 victims. All of his victims are low-risk victims and found in the national park. They take days to recover. His victims are educated, middle-aged women. They're all attacked during the day, and they've all died from blunt force head trauma, which we saw. Mm-hmm. The second killer has 8 victims, all sex workers, shoots them with a .44 Magnum. There's no sexual assault against them, and that killer has contacted a reporter claiming responsibility, naming himself the Hollow Man. When Mill Creek kills, the Hollow Man shoots another woman, and they are polar opposites. Now, in St. Louis, we see that the Mill Creek killer will return to the bodies hidden in the woods. He puts lipstick on them and spends time with them. Mm-hmm. The most recent Hollow Man victim's mom accuses Hotch and Reed of only being in town because of the Mill Creek killer's victims. She doesn't want their apologies. She wants them to do their jobs. Back at the precinct, we also see that there's a lot of evidence for Mill Creek, but only like 1 folder for the Hollow Man case. JJ meets with the reporter who's in contact with him and tells him that he needs to not write about the Hollow Man because they need to draw him out. And the best way to do that is to pretend like he doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. They find the most recent Mill Creek victim and they say this insane thing. They say that sex acts with dead bodies are rare occurrences. However, Bundy did it regularly, which brings us to our buddy Bundy.
Beep, beep. Welcome to what will be the biggest bummer yet on My Buddy Bundy. In this episode, we see this serial killer kidnap these women, murder them, and then he hides their bodies in the woods. But not only that, then he goes back and back and back to visit their bodies, and he puts lipstick on them and kisses them, and then we just kind of assume, other things. Our buddy Bundy, our buddy Bundy. The disgusting part is Ted Bundy also did this. He hid his victims' bodies in the woods, and he would go back and visit them. And, you know, this is a well-known part of the Bundy case, but one that's not talked about a lot for obvious reasons. So a lot of serial killers keep trophies. They keep jewelry items, clothes, stuff like that. Ted Bundy, his trophies were the heads of his victims. We know of at least 12 that he kept in his apartment. This is so gross. It is 6:30 in the morning.
Hold for applause.
Whenever you think of like heads in an apartment, I always think Dahmer, and I always forget about that part with Bundy, and it's so gross.
Yeah.
Okay, back in the bad part of town, the Hollow Man is in his cab scanning the paper. Like, what are they writing about me? And he freaks out when he finds there's no mention of him. So he naturally attacks 2 sex workers and poses their bodies with the paper, the front page of which has reported on the Mill Creek Killer.
A very artistic move.
Very. He's pissed.
He's so mad.
He's so mad. And so is the reporter, who's now blaming himself. Reed has analyzed the Hollow Man's handwriting from the letter he sent to the reporter and concludes that the killer deals with problems in a practical and direct manner, hence the shooting. They deliver the 2 different profiles for the 2 different killers, and the Hollow Man is growing confident, and the Mill Creek Killer needs the ritual of after the killings. Both will need new victims soon. Oh, Stacey was just making a face.
It just grosses me out. And I've been, yeah.
Mill Creek has a new victim, and she was just reported missing by a friend. They need to find the body and then lie in wait for him to return to it. This is their best chance of catching him. Morgan realizes that there must be a plan or some kind of pattern to the dump sites, even though it appears totally random, because he knew when and where to dump a body when no ranger would be on duty. So they check schedules and find a probable area. They find the new victim, and like 20 of them hide in the area waiting for him to come back. And I'm like,
this is like an awkward game of hide and seek.
It's like so many people, and I'm like, maybe 2, you know, like, I don't know. Wild.
Like, there's no way not one of them was going to make a noise, you know?
Oh, I mean, truly, just insane.
That's right.
So,
there's so many dead leaves around.
So many. So, who comes to the body? The reporter.
Shocker.
I know, but he says he is not the Mill Creek Killer, but he was tipped off by the Hollow Man, of all people. Headlines run with the Hollow Man helps FBI in Mill Creek case, and now he's getting so much attention, the FBI is unsure if he'll need to kill again quickly or if he's going to go into hiding, right? So this is like a wrench in their plan all over the place. The other fear is that the Mill Creek Killer can't revisit the body and perform his ritual, so he might devolve very quickly, which means women are in danger, as per usual.
Which is a general statement every
day. All the time.
Women are in danger.
The Mill Creek Killer approaches a woman on the street to use her phone to call for car help. His car has broken down. She refuses to go with him, and he grabs her. He just tries to snatch her off the street, but she screams and he runs. So now we have a living almost victim, and she's able to tell the cops that he seemed super normal, he was really good looking, and she's able to sit for a composite drawing. Meanwhile, Reed finds that the serial killers have been communicating with each other in the classifieds under the pseudonyms Holden and Sonny, which are characters from Catcher in the Rye. And they use this and Reed's language analysis to pose as the Hollow Man to send the Mill Creek Killer a note that he's left a present for him. But they put an agent undercover as the dead body, and then they lie in wait for him to come collect his present. Ew. So the Mill Creek Killer comes and they arrest him, but he was like, I was just checking to make sure she was okay. Don't mind the lipstick, right? Like, insane.
There was a woman in distress, so she clearly needed some rouge. You know?
Yeah, she looked pallid.
She really needed this. Talk about like a new marketing ploy for like the Kylie Jenner lip kits.
Oh my God.
Product placement, anyone?
Sponsor us.
Almost murdered. Here's some lipstick.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. They use the media to elevate the Mill Creek and disparage the Hollow Man to piss him off enough to get him to react, which he does. And he just walks himself into the precinct, pretty much. And I'm like, okay. So then the next day, the paper runs a victims only article without mentioning the killers, which we love to see. And Hotch gets back to Virginia and Prentiss is there. And our queen, Paget Brewster, has finally joined the cast. And that's our episode.
Okay, so I thought it was really strange that he was like, when they confronted the lipstick guy, and he was like, don't tell anybody about what I did.
Yeah.
You can't tell
Do not mention the
anybody
lipstick. Yeah.
Right, he's like, but you could tell him I killed him, but don't mention the lipstick, wink, wink.
Yeah, well, it's so taboo. And what's so funny is like they were saying that it's like no one does it. And I was like, I can think of 10 off the top of my head who had necrophilic acts. Like it can't be that uncommon. You know what I mean? Like if serial killing is already uncommon, it's not that uncommon in, I don't know. But we do have someone who's going to talk to us about the stats on necrophilia in crime.
Yay. We talk about so many fun things on this podcast.
I know.
It's very uplifting. I sleep very well once we're done.
The more you know. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to arm you with information.
I know. I'm going to go get some Wet n Wild lipstick after this. I'm really excited.
Oh my God. Let's bring Kristen on for peer review.
Hi.
So I was telling them that like I could think of 10 serial killers off the top of my head who had necrophilic acts. And yet everyone always talks about necrophilia like it's this very rare thing to find in an unsub. And I think you have done some research for us.
Yeah, just a really light, wonderful topic to research again on this show. Just makes me feel so good. I know so many more things. Like when I close my eyes, I'm like, I should not have this knowledge at all.
It would be good for trivia.
Truth. So I'll know now that necrophilia includes people who want to have sex with putrid bodies and just bones as well.
Ew.
So
Jesus.
not just,
God.
An actual body, but
What
rotting
does one
bodies
do
and
with
bones.
a bone? Like, what can you do?
I don't know. Don't make me think about it, Kim.
I don't. Look, you brought it up, Kristen. What am I supposed to do with this information?
I have it. Now you have it.
Everyone has orifices.
Yeah, but bones, like, there's nothing to, like, there's, you know what? This is
I know.
Don't kink shame.
Trust me, I am not one to kink shame, but I have questions. I'm gonna need to take a class.
Yeah, no, it's wild.
Look at Stacy's face. Just
I know.
This whole
Because
time.
when you think about necrophilia, you think a body, right? You someone who looks like a human.
you think recent.
Right. You don't think putrid and then just the bones themselves. Like I had never even considered that. So that one kind of blew my mind. But you just want me to start at the top?
Yeah,
Okay, let's
do
go.
your thing.
Let's take it from the top, Kristen.
Thank you. Okay, so necrophilia is part of the paraphilia group, and paraphilia means any atypical sexual fantasies or any atypical sexual feelings towards objects or people, stuff like that. So necrophilia specifically is being sexually attracted to dead bodies. And it's been like earmarked throughout history. One of the earliest times that they noted someone talking about necrophilia was in Egyptian times, where a Greek author who was writing the histories of Egypt talked about how they would wait 3 to 4 days before female bodies, or they'd wait 3 to 4 days after a female had died to give it to the mummifiers, to the embalmers. So way back in Egypt, we have people mentioning that necrophilia is happening. So, oh God.
Is it too much to hope that that's preventative so that the mummifiers aren't banging the bodies?
Apparently they don't care because the body can be putrid, a body can be bones. It doesn't matter.
I don't think this is one of those situations where we can give the benefit of the doubt. Like, I don't think that's how any of this works.
Yeah, true. Okay, so now that we know what it is and kind of it's been around for a while, why? Why does it happen, right? So there's been a lot of observed necrophilia in animals. So in birds, lizards,
Ducks.
frogs, whales, ducks. Yes, there's a specific duck one that now is seared in my brain. I won't share it with you. Awful.
They're rapists.
Oh my
They are
God.
rapists and they are necrophiliacs. Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought I also heard that maybe otters were rapists, but not to dead animals. Anyway, I feel like that
they're
could be
rapists, and they kill baby seals. Otters.
Yes, they kill baby seals.
For fun?
Yes.
Yeah. They're big bullies. You're like, oh, otters are cute. They hold hands, but they are rapists and bullies.
I learned that from Michelle Wolf.
So.
Yes, Michelle Wolf. She's a great person
you
to get education from.
Stacy's not pleased with this.
I know. I feel like somebody should check on her. Is she okay?
No, she's not.
Yeah, it's not a fun topic. So, whales, seals, a bunch of animals.
Wow.
And it's not even, again, just immediately after death. It is days or weeks after death. They will find these animals engaging in necrophilia. So there's some theories as to why this happens. So one of the theories is that there's no resistance from the female. The drive to mate is really high. So they're going to go with the path of least resistance, which happens to be a dead female. And then the second theory is that there's not a lot of stimuli needed for an animal to engage in intercourse. So for them, it's like a sex pheromone, which hangs on to the animal, however long until it's so far decomposed that sex pheromone isn't there anymore. So they think the sex pheromones are still around, or they think that yellow feather that signifies that the female is fertile or whatever is still around. So there's not a lot of stimuli needed for animals to engage in intercourse in general. And the reason this is important and why it's even brought up is, there's this frog one that I want to tell you about. Oh my God. So the frog, I'm leaving out details for you, but the frog, when they find a dead female, they will squeeze it and have intercourse with it until its eggs fall out of it, and then it will fertilize the eggs.
Oh my God.
And that was like so brutal to think about, Like they just squeeze the eggs out of the dead frog.
Frogs are fucked up.
Frogs are fucked up, yeah.
Frogs are fucked up.
So the reason this is important is because it sort of
Stacey's
No, it's gross. It's awful.
She's not okay, you guys. Stacey's not okay.
I'm not happy.
No, it's awful. So they say, since we see it in animals, there's some sort of biological basis. Like there's some sort of genetic factor. There's some sort of something, right, for animals to engage in this behavior. So I'm not saying that it's right. The theorists aren't saying that it's right. They're just saying there might be some sort of biological piece to this necrophilia puzzle. But humans are a little more complicated. We have language. So now in humans. So why do they think that humans engage in necrophilia? So as you can imagine, there's not a lot of research on this because, for one, it's not funny. The victims cannot speak up, right? So the victims cannot say, like, I've been a victim of necrophilia. And people aren't going to admit that they're necrophiliacs. And then on top of that, they think there's a lot of people who have, like, thoughts of necrophilia, but they don't actually engage in it, but they're not going to say that they fantasize about necrophilia, right? So in general, there's just not a lot of data on necrophilias, but there is one
trust no
study.
one. Just trust no one. Basically.
Yeah, yep, exactly. They might have thoughts, but there was one study, and it's sort of the linchpin study that everyone references, and it was done in 1989. And what they did is they looked at 122 confirmed necrophilia cases. So people who are necrophiliacs, they looked at them and they sort of took all the data and then made little tables. So here's kind of what they found within this 122 sample. So small sample, but it's the only sample that we have. Most of these necrophiliacs said that they engaged in necrophilia because they wanted, I'm going to read this verbatim, they wanted to possess an unresisting and unrejecting partner. Over about 70% of them said that's the reason they engaged in necrophilia. The next reason was at a reunion with a partner. So their partner had died or they murdered their partner and they wanted to reunite with their partner. About 20% said that was the reason. Another one, 15% below that, or 15%, the next level is that they had a conscious attraction to corpses. So only 15% of them admitted that. I think the number is probably higher.
Yeah.
I just don't think anyone wants to admit it. Then we've got, they want to gain comfort, overcome feelings of isolation. So they fucked a dead body. I mean, make sense. And then
who just has a dead body on hand? You know what I mean? Like that actually takes a lot of effort.
Yes. So we'll get into those statistics about who's doing it. Other reasons, low self-esteem. They wanted to express power over their homicide victims specifically. One said sex with living women was a sin. So sex with a dead woman is fine. One person had hallucinations, and they had to do what the hallucination said. So it was engaged in necrophilia. Right. So this is kind of the only data we have around why humans said that they engaged in necrophilia. But I have a sneaking suspicion that them being attracted to corpses is much higher than just 15%. Like, you kind of have to be attracted to the thing you're going to fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So the people who are doing this, over half of them work with dead bodies. It's morgue workers, it's cemetery workers, it's hospital workers. Yep. And they think that those people get into those professions so that they can be around dead bodies, right? Ew. It's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? And they think probably the necrophilia came first. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Mostly male perpetrators. Over 90% were males. Half had a personality disorder. And then only 10% of them were diagnosed as being psychotic, which was a surprising finding for them. They had thought that psychosis and necrophilia would be very hand in hand, and this suggests they're actually quite separate. But again, only 122 people, so who actually knows? Yeah, so treatment-wise, we don't have enough people to treat. They have no idea what treatments look like. The suggestion is just treat it like any other paraphilia. So do some desensitization, start teaching them what a typical romantic relationship looks like.
I don't think you can quote unquote treat paraphilias, because it's just ultimately what you're attracted to, and you can like learn to not engage, but I don't think that ever goes away. That's like, you see with pedophiles and stuff.
Yeah. They can't really be rehabilitated.
And the gays.
Yeah, you can't rehabilitate one of us, that's for sure.
So my science behavior analysis, if you look at some of the studies from the 60s, they have some really disgusting trying to make people not gay studies.
Yeah, Alan Turing killed himself because of it. Alan Turing, and they like chemically castrated him, and then he finally killed himself. I mean, like one of the greatest minds ever.
I need to watch a Disney movie after this. I need to be happy. I am not happy.
No, I know. Stacey's not having a good time.
This is like furthering into the sadness.
Yeah. Well, and in that study that I read too, they gave specifics on the necrophilia. Okay,
oh, good.
Sharing it with you. If I know, you know. Cut this out if you want to. But one of them.
If I suffer, we all suffer.
Yeah. So this one, he had not acted on the necrophilia, he said, with humans. With animals, he did. But humans, he hadn't at that point. Ugh. But his fantasy was to dip his hands in the warm blood and sort of have intercourse with his dead body while he was like bathed in the warm blood, is what he kept saying. It was just, he wanted to be coated in that warm blood. I was like, and that's not psychosis? Like, what is that then? Like, it can't be just nature. Like, that doesn't make sense either. It's a paraphilia. Yeah, but that had to be taught somewhere.
It's a bad wiring.
Mm-mm. You think
it's
that?
Bad wiring. Bad wiring. God messed up on that one. He was tired.
Yeah. It was the end of the day.
Too soon.
Leftover part.
Yeah. Whoopsies.
Oh, God. Yeah. And then the last thing I have for you guys is just kind of the legal recourse, I guess, if you engage in necrophilia. And it was interesting. A lot of countries and a lot of our states in the United States, they don't have specific explicit rules against necrophilia. It kind of falls under other rules. It was like, I don't know, desecrating a corpse, but it wasn't specifically necrophilia, right? So
yes, my dad prosecuted a necrophilia case.
Do you know what it was under? What is it in Nevada? I didn't check our state.
So they've changed it a little bit, but it was, it was like desecration of human remains, which is almost nothing. What they really got them for was they went and stole the body from the funeral home, and it was the damage done in the burglary.
Damn.
Oh my God.
That was more because it's not a human. So it's like how, because they're dead. I mean, it's a body, but it's not a victim.
Couldn't get them on kidnapping, huh?
To.
Jesus.
Right. No, it's like, it was really crazy. And he did that when he was a juvenile prosecutor.
Oh, damn.
They were kids.
Yeah, that's crazy. I did look at like the time that people would get, and it's between 1 and 3 years for necrophilia, which seemed very low.
They got out. Yeah, they got out around that. Like, he got like 5 years because of the damage or something. Yeah, crazy. But then he ended up murdering someone, and now he's serving life.
Damn. That was something. If they had engaged in previous sexual assaults, they were more likely to engage in necrophilia. Like if they had previous rapes and stuff like that.
I feel like it's one of those, like, you progress
your way. So it's like a gateway drug.
Yeah, that's why we see like a lot of serial killers doing it, and then eventually cannibalism. Also not as rare as I think we like to think.
Cannibalism kept popping up with necrophilia, like in the stuff that I was reading. Because same stuff. You can't study it. No one's going to admit to it. The victims can't,
It's real gross.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the necrophilia rundown for you.
How fun. Should we grade Kristen?
Everyone looks so excited. I can't wait to hear the
I feel like I need to go like hug Stacy. She's not okay.
I could use a hug.
Yeah. Okay, well, Stacy, you go first.
I don't want to.
Are you gonna fail her?
I don't know, because it was good information, but the whole thing was awful.
We talked about warm blood. It's okay. Like I understand.
Yeah, I guess I pass.
Because technically sound, but emotionally not great. So it's a technical pass.
Yeah, technical pass, but I'm not happy about it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take the pity pass.
Kim, do you want to pass or fail Kristen for our peer review?
Oh, I'm going to pass her all the way. I mean, she had to read through all that shit and then relive it with us. My God, that's awful. So sorry.
And now y'all can think about bones and putrid bodies and like the logistics of that.
My God. Don't ever compare that to kink again, ever. It's not even close.
I know. I guess I'll pass you as well.
Hey, thanks guys. Thanks for the trauma. Thanks for the passes.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being on.
No problem. I hope you guys learned something.
Yeah,
I think Stacy learned
Unfortunately,
too much.
yes, we learned.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Pull it out at your next party. Hey, you guys want to know something about
necrophilia?
Great for Christmas.
I like it.
For real.
Here for it. So that was lovely.
Oh, Stacy, are you all right? She's not okay.
I need a cheeseburger and some fries. I need to go to Wendy's.
I do need to take her to Wendy's.
You need to take me to Wendy's, my new wifey.
No. Boo.
Can we be sister wives? Why can't we both have her?
Because I'm very jealous.
I don't
That's
need two
fair.
ladies fighting over me. This is too much. It's too much.
It's your dream.
I feel really good about this is the best I felt about myself all week. Thank you.
So
Let me shake it off for a second.
before you jump into the
Before we dive right
grossest
back into
guys,
it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking today about the Baton Rouge serial killers, but it should be noted that your girl was just in Baton Rouge for a wedding, and I was at a place where one of the victims was found.
Oh, wow.
Bam.
Yeah, so this is fun for me. So, between the years of 1992 and 2004, Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas of Louisiana had a total of 15 women who were gruesomely murdered. And we're going to talk about 2 people today, and I'll get into why. I like leading, what is it called? Leading the bait the lead. What is it? What's that
Bury the
phrase?
lead.
That's what I'm talking about.
Great job.
Thank you. I like to bury the lead a little bit.
I think saying the thing isn't burying the lead.
Well, I don't
Like
know.
if you had
Listen,
done it like it was one serial killer and then halfway through you're like, because it was 2, that's burying the lead.
Listen, we talked about necrophilia. I need to regroup.
You're just going to keep talking about it. Like it doesn't get better from here.
It doesn't. So anyways, the 2 people we're going to talk about today are Derrick Todd Lee, who was nicknamed the Baton Rouge Killer. And we're also going to talk about Sean Vincent Gillis. Derrick Todd Lee was born in 1968. He was known to people as a smooth talker, very charismatic. Before his murder charges, though, he had been arrested for stalking women. And despite this, he was initially overlooked by police for any of the murders because they incorrectly believed that the killer was white. And Derrick Todd Lee was African American. And this was due to an inaccurate FBI profile and erroneous eyewitness accounts. Lee
But was it inaccurate?
Well,
Or was it just for not him?
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're burying
Stop
the lead.
burying the lead. That's my job.
It should be stop digging up the lead at this
Oh
point.
yeah. I don't know.
Okay,
how
we got
words work.
this. We got this.
So Lee was eventually linked by DNA testing to the deaths of 7 women in the Baton Rouge and Lafayette areas of Louisiana. And in 2004, he was convicted in separate trials of the murders of Geraldine DeSoto and Charlotte Pace. The Pace trial eventually resulted in a death sentence for Derrick Todd Lee. Now I'm going to hop on over to Gillis. So Gillis, oddly enough, was born in the early 60s as well. So they were pretty close in age, right? He was arrested without incident at his residence on April 29th in 2004. In his initial arrest, he was only charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of ritualistic acts in the murders of his victims, of 3 victims. He eventually confessed to the murders with, it should be noted, a little coercion, and then informed investigators about 5 other women who he had murdered.
Cute.
Very cute, right? So the methods, let's talk about their methods. Lee, his methods varied with nearly each murder, and the only similarities that they carried between the crimes were like removals of cell phones from the victim's belongings, and then truly a lack of any visible signs of forced entry into the location where the victim was attacked. Police were searching through DNA testing for a white person, as they had believed. So in early 2003, there was an urban legend that began to circulate around the Baton Rouge area that Lee was using, or the Baton Rouge serial killer per se, was using taped sounds of a crying baby to lure his victims to the door. The Baton Rouge police, though, were quick to deny that the information was coming from their office. However, we're pretty sure that they leaked that out.
Great. Well, I mean,
I'm gonna
honestly,
be honest, I don't.
they should have leaked that out because that's,
Yeah.
you need to know that information. Like, that's
Correct.
public safety now.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, I just feel like a crying baby isn't going to lure me in. If there was like a mewing kitten, perhaps, I'd be like, let's go find it.
Right, but
And that's
crying
how I'll
baby,
die.
I'm like,
Yeah, that is how Kim will die. That's how we can all kill Kim.
Just lure me
no,
out of the
don't
house
kill
with a
my
kitten.
wife. I don't want to be a widow.
I know, right? We've only just gotten together. I can't leave her already.
Oh my God.
Right, exactly.
It's a tragic
This
story.
I'm being bullied. This is bullying.
You'll always be my first wife. It's fine.
Absolutely. The most important. First wives are the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Gillis, back to Gillis, my man Gillis, not my man. I'm not affiliated and I don't like him at all. Gillis once claimed that he only began killing because of stress.
Sure.
He was stressed.
Number 1 cause of killings.
Yes.
Correct.
I get stressed out all the time. I can't tell you how many people I've probably killed just in a blind rage. Just
in a blind rage.
I don't even remember it. I was just stressed out that day. That's an excuse
I'm
that works.
stressed. Pop. Right, exactly. So he only confessed to this after he was arrested, and he mentioned that his first murder was of an 82-year-old woman in March of 1994. Now, keep in mind, timeline, is really similar to Lee's. So they are doing this right on top of each other, right back and forth. He intended, he said, to rape her, but he became frightened when she screamed as he touched her. So to stop her screaming, he slit her throat and then stabbed her 50 times, as you do.
50 times? That's a major overkill.
That's a little
now.
excessive.
I know, right? Exactly.
Also,
but,
it's hilarious. He's like, I got frightened. That bitch was frightened.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
I'm frightened.
Like in the scenario in his head, was he like, this is going to go well? Like,
Yeah. Like,
it's going to be
she's going to be fine with this. Yeah.
Right.
Like, what?
Correct. So that happened. He killed her. There we go. He left her body there, which was actually at a retirement home in Baton Rouge. Then in May 1999, he began stalking a woman that he had seen around, jogging in the South Lake Baton Rouge area. And he spent 3 weeks driving around the area looking for her. At around like 5:30 in the morning, on May 30th of 1999, which was a Sunday, if anybody cared to know, he saw the 52-year-old woman jogging. Hardy Schmidt was her name. And 2 days later, her body was found in a bayou. He later confessed that he had hit her with his car and he knocked her into a ditch. He got out and placed a heavy-duty wire plastic wrap tightly around her neck and forced her into the car. He drove to a park off of Highland Road and raped her after she was hit, and I'm presuming pretty incapacitated at that point. So then he killed her, and he put her nude corpse into the trunk of his car, which was a white Chevy Cavalier, which I feel like everybody and their mom had a white Chevy Cavalier in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, right.
Yeah. But only like 80 people had one in Louisiana.
Yeah.
It was like a big thing once they figured that out.
Right. Correct. So he left her body in the car for 2 days, and then he ended up dumping it. He spent the next 5 years killing, which, his whereabouts during that time weren't really known. Now, his final victim was Donna Bennett Johnston, 43 years old at the time. It was his 8th victim. In February of 2004, he raped her and strangled her with a nylon tie wrap. He ended up mutilating her body post-mortem, slashing her breasts. He cut off her left nipple, to be specific, and he also gouged out a tattoo on her right thigh. He severed her left arm at the elbow as well. Her body was found in a drainage canal south of Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge. That was his final victim. Clearly, some things escalated.
Yeah, that went out with a bang.
Mm-hmm.
Quite literally.
It's like one more for the road.
Quite literally.
Mm-hmm.
So, in letters exchanged between Gillis and an actual friend of his final victim, her name was Tammy Perpera. They were writing each other back and forth for quite some time, and he actually explained her friend's murder, his final victim, and even in his letter expressed some remorse. This was taken from the letter. He said, "She was so drunk, it only took about a minute and a half to succumb to unconsciousness and then death. Honestly, her last words were, 'I can't breathe.' I still puzzle over the post-mortem dismemberment and cutting. There must be something deep in my subconscious that really needs that kind of macabre action."
He's a monster. That's what it is.
Truly. And so, I can't even begin to describe it's insane. I have no words for it.
Yeah.
Her friend, Tammy, who ended up dying in 2004 of complications from AIDS, she actually gave all of the letters over to prosecutors, and they were used at all of his trials. Additionally, after they raided his place of residence, they found 45 digital pictures of Johnston's mutilated body, as well as photos of her corpse in the trunk of his car. There were also many other photos found of victims, some of which they found out were used to help stimulate him and get him excited.
Gross.
Yeah, exactly. He also kept certain body parts in his home as souvenirs used for the same purpose, to help stimulate him and remember the murders.
This is worse than Kristen's segment, just so
I know.
you know.
Again, I'm not happy. I'm not in a good mood. This is not fun for me today. I don't want to do it, but I did it. Yeah.
This is rough. This is rough going.
Mine are always really upbeat, so I don't know.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So that pretty much covers the end of our people. Now, before his death sentence, Derrick Todd Lee actually died of heart failure. And Gillis is still serving out his life sentence in Louisiana State Penitentiary. He is 61 years old.
I was shocked that a jury wouldn't convict for death.
In which case? Oh, in Gillis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out. So one of the cases of Derrick Todd Lee was the one that was eligible for a death sentence. And then the other case was deadlocked on the death sentence. So they couldn't convict him for that. So.
Yeah. Well, I know that one of the jurors was big on Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think for religious reasons.
Yeah, so I truly feel like it was just because they were deadlocked on that and they couldn't.
Yeah. Well, and Gillis was living with a girlfriend for like 9 years while all of this was happening. Like,
right.
That's insane.
What?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And like,
Talk
he's
about
not
standing by your man.
Yeah. She did too. She was like, when they came to arrest him, she was like, well, you've got the wrong house. And they're like, well, he's confessed. And she was like, I'm going to have to hear that from him. Like, what are you talking about?
He never tried to kill me.
Exactly. And he's like not an uggo. Like, it's very weird.
It is really absolutely insane. So what I find fascinating and why I think they were just so similar. We don't have a lot of information on Derrick Todd Lee's things that he did to the bodies per se, or what he did to his victims outside of raping and killing them and how he killed them. But if you look at it, they were similar build. They were similar age. They were doing similar acts. And the only difference was the fact that Derrick Todd Lee was African American and Gillis was white.
Yeah. And Gillis, even after Lee was arrested, Gillis had like a folder on him.
Yeah.
And collected all like everything he could about him and like kind of became a fanboy of his.
Yeah. And
they were operating the exact same time. Like it's very rare for serial killers to be active at the same time in the same place.
Weird. It was weird.
So, and these two are actually mentioned in the episode. They talk about Louisiana.
Yes. So there's that.
You missed the gross part.
Which one? Which one was? Tell me.
This whole thing's been gross.
Was the grossest part? Go on.
Gillis also confessed to being sexually attracted to his mother and said that had she died, they probably would have found him in bed with her corpse.
Oh my God.
That's the grossest part.
Oh my God. It's like
and she was like paying all of his bills.
It's like
she
Psycho.
left town and was like, I'll just pay for you to live here. Bye.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Wow.
I'm upset about it, as much as we all are, I think.
But mostly Stacy.
But mostly me.
Oh my gosh.
Had a rough time. Rough go of it this episode.
Yeah. I need to take a bath after this.
She needs
in warm blood.
Oh, Jesus, Veronica. What the hell is wrong with you?
Oh my God.
I have been divorced since coming on this podcast.
I know, this has been an
I walked in married and then during the podcast got divorced with. Yeah. And then my co-host took my ex-wife. What do you mean? What's wrong with me?
You know
this is Hollywood. This is what happens. Okay, we move on quickly. We gotta fill that void. We can't be single for long. Okay.
Oh my God.
Speaking of filling that void, That's what you can do with the bone.
You're so gross.
Also, too, you know what I just realized, and this is going to be absolutely terrible to switch gears, and I don't really want to now. We
ready.
forgot
Here
to
we
do
go.
the Shemar Moore segment.
Oh, fuck.
We should have done that first.
So, if you
I know that we're all feeling awful. Let's do it.
can't. So, okay, I know how to transition.
Okay.
Given Lee and Gillis, Kim,
Yeah.
are you sure you don't like men?
I
Like,
guess-
if those were the options.
You know what?
Are we bringing you
I've never
back?
been more sure in my life.
Are you
Then-
more sure?
Gimme more.
I mean, he's pretty, but I don't want to have sex with
Well, that seems insane to me.
him.
Not even if he was like, hey, what's up?
You're right. That's all it would take.
What if he was
to
like, hey,
turn
what's
me.
up?
If he was just like, "What's up?" I'm like, "That's it," and my panties would just fall right off.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Especially in this like dark blue shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It was nice.
I think he might be able to turn you.
I don't think so, but I appreciate that you think I'm that easy.
I found you to be quite easy. It took a car ride.
Oh my god!
Don't talk about my wife like that.
Thank you, Stacey. Thank you. See,
I got you.
Okay, well then what would you rate that then? Out of 5, Kim, what would you rate that?
that look from a lesbian.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd give him a 5. He's an attractive man.
Okay.
I think he's pretty. He's pretty.
It's very pretty.
I'd wear that outfit.
Especially if it came in a short sleeve
Yeah, you know
and was
me
paired
my
with a
short-
Bermuda short.
Yeah, see, you know how I dress.
I do know how you dress. Stace, what about you?
I want to give him a 5, but I'm so upset.
But he would never.
I know.
Yeah, he didn't do it. Don't blame him. He
I
didn't do
know,
any
that's
of
fair.
these
You know what?
things.
Good point. All right. I'm going to give him a 5 because it is a good blue.
I tried to uplift you. I actually purposefully saved him for last to end on a
On a high
on
note.
a light note.
Yeah, here we are.
I'm also going to give him a 5 because you can see his shoulders bulging and his like stubble. We know I like a beard.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know how you girls like those beards. It just chafes on you.
I know, but it's like it's free exfoliating.
That's yeah, but like if their beards are dirty, I have seen someone get a full-on infection around
Yeah.
their mouth because of beard rub, and
most
it was
beards are
dirty
pretty
beard.
dirty.
Yeah,
She got like a staph infection on her
she
face.
straight up got like a staph infection on her face because the guy's beard was hella not clean.
Mm-hmm.
So men, wash your beards; they're nasty.
Or
Boys,
men are
wash
gross,
your
you guys.
fucking face.
Men
Yeah,
are gross.
men are gross.
Yep.
On
All the
that
more
note.
reason to be with women.
Do you have anything coming up? Are you doing your monthly show?
Yeah, I mean,
Cohen?
we don't have a bunch planned out in 2024 yet, but there's one in February so far planned, and then we're slowly.
All right.
Yeah.
So where can people follow you to find all of your shows? Because you just
So
recorded a 30? No, you just did a 30 in New York.
I just did a 30 in New York,
Okay.
but it's not recorded
That's
anywhere.
amazing.
Yeah, that's
Good
a whole different
job.
conversation. Thank you so much. You're such a supportive wife, Stacey. God, love it.
Wow.
This is fun for me.
I am being attacked.
You know what? Maybe if you stop going out of town, you and I can revive our relationship. But until
This-
then, it's me and
This is a hate
Stacey.
crime because I'm
Okay.
the only straight person on this podcast.
Okay.
That's so true.
All right. Well, all right.
I'm a
always about
minority and I am a victim.
Always
God.
the victim.
And I have been such an ally.
You are an ally. You've always been an ally.
Okay, so where can people follow you to find out about all of your things?
Okay, so on Instagram, it's at Kim Lupe. And then on the Tiki Taki, we're at Kim Lupe Comedy.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. For everyone else, like, subscribe, download, whatever the kids say, share, review, whatever. And join us next week for another episode of Criminal Gines.